Tonight says, ED, let's give him a chance. Chamisa, no chance. He's young and has failed before he's even started. I don't think anyone is saying that. I think everybody would like to see Chamisa succeed, including me. I don't know if you've heard that elsewhere, but not here. Kuda, I don't know. I know myself. Trying to add Josephine. Josephine is not answering. Josephine, you're not answering. I tried to add you. You're not answering. Anyone else would like me to add? Ben Bright, let me try and add Ben Bright. You don't have an icon next to your thing. Anyone else would like me to add? Ben, I tried to add you. You're not addable. Basil, let me try and add you. Please answer if we can. Obed Gutu has quit MDC. I say good riddance. Obed Gutu is a greasy slime ball. Grease ball.
Yes.
Mr. Basil, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right, thank you, bro.
Get me up, man. What do you think?
Inini, my problem is not that I don't like Chamisa. I've said it over and over again. I'm someone who was not really supporting MDC for one reason or another. But I had also said that if Chamisa is to be elected the president, I will support him. Now, what I cannot support is this whole thing of organizing youths in the background and then pretending, that you are actually pushing them away. It's just wrong. Chamisa can win an election in a free and fair contest with all those leaders. So I don't understand why he is doing what he's doing. I don't understand it. Is it a culture that we are used to just be violent or what? Because Chamisa, if he were to stand there and say, for instance, Douglas Monzora and what's the name, Mike Coupe and all that, and then he gets into a free and fair contest, he will definitely win that election. So why is he doing all this, what he is doing? Because he's pushing us away. We all support him. But I don't understand why he is allowing, people with the... it's like right now I don't think I think ZANU-PF would come around and say you are a coup government, and indeed it looks like a coup. You see, you are a coup opposition leader, we are a coup government, and you are a coup opposition leader. That's what he is allowing to happen, because ZANU-PF is going to have justification why they do what they are doing. Why can we not have a different mindset as young people and then start chatting a different way forward? The reason why our
like I said, remember, we have to give him an opportunity now, because he's only been in charge as an acting president for the last 3 days. We have to give him an opportunity to prove his leadership.
But that's the part I'm saying. Kuti in charge where the past 3 days. Again, that is when the SG move walked out. I think if Chamisa also respects his SG and other people around him and other leaders around him, he should have said, right, okay, SG, organize a Congress, and then we go to that Congress, whoever wins, he shakes hands with him. Even if it's Douglas Monzora, we end up winning. As long as it's a free and fair contest, that's good. This is not a free and fair contest. It certainly looks like it's just that coup government to me. All I'm saying is, in as much as I may want to vote Chamisa, but let him do the right thing. Simple.
I agree. So Basil, you and me are on the same page, my brother. I appreciate you coming on the show. It's very simple. Thank you for joining us, and let me add more people who would like to talk. Let's bring Benson on. Benson, I'm trying to add you now. I'm trying to add you in the order you've requested. After Benson is James, then Batsy, then Edward. My brother Benson, how are you? My brother, I'm going to ask you for the sake of sanity in this conversation.
Yeah.
To address the issues at hand.
All right. The existence of Chamisa right now as a leader, for me, was unconstitutional in the first place. Sakakana mutamiriri weparty asina kuteerera mutemo, asina kuteedzera constitution yavo, it's already problematic. And that problem that we're talking about is the reason why Urkuona Patone, a spirit of disorder, a spirit of rebellism in the party, because he started it. But not only that, Panemuna Taura, I think it was...
Is it the same as ED?
More or less the same with ED, absolutely. And right now, youth is Zeku MDC. They're actually playing very well into ZANU-PF's strong powers. Kuti kana youth is Zeku MDC dzichita zveganyavu. Mangwana kana ZANU-PF youth is zakuitawo zveganyavu. It will be very difficult for people to justify and say kuti ZANU-PF ngaistop violence, because when it's inga munoita violence kupi ku MDC. Even though the leaders will pretend like they don't endorse it, it gives powers to the youths to do what they want. However, what I want to do is a question of the issue that we keep avoiding as Zimbabweans to talk about. Chamisa takamona achenda ku America just in November or December, but chinokumbira kuti sanctions asimbiswe. And I heard Masi saying we cannot talk about how the youth is acting on the street because they are the ones that are suffering from the economic conditions that are in Zimbabwe. And I think I've made it clear that my economic conditions are in Zimbabwe because of sanctions that are on Zimbabwe. Mubvunzo wangu ndeo can have free and fair elections in Zimbabwe when there are sanctions that are pulling down ZANU-PF, making ZANU-PF look bad, making us not be able to see the true performance of ZANU-PF because of sanctions that were put in order for MDC to ascend to power. Can we have free and fair elections under those conditions? And if ZANU-PF...
I have a simple answer for you. The simple answer is no, you can't.
Right. And so when ZANU-PF loses, after it feels that the tables were turned against it, will you expect that ZANU-PF to give power to MDC? Do we expect them to say, yes, MDC has won fairly when they feel that MDC was being supported by USA with sanctions?
Well, no, I mean, I've always said I don't see General Chiwenga handing over the keys to State House now.
Right. Sakatweta say manje pakadaro, because that's the issue that I think we should be talking about in Zimbabwe. If we're going to have free and fair elections, we mustn't give ZANU-PF a reason to say kuti zvino are not fair for them. We mustn't give ZANU-PF a reason to say, kana imaita zvechitsotsi muchipuwa support nema Americans, we will just hold elections as a farce, but at the end of the day, we won't give you power because imimuo, you are being unfair by using the United States to prop you up, to put you into the office.
Right. I mean, look, your points are all valid. Now, I didn't want to get into this debate today about sanctions, but I would like to say that the day that we do have this debate, I would like you to think about a few things. The man with the biggest house on borrowed or broke is General Chiwenga. One of the richest men in Zimbabwe is not Strive Masiwa, is the current president. You see, we can talk sanctions forever, but these sanctions have enriched and emboldened ZANU-PF far more than anything else in the world. So they can cry as much as they like about being victims. But when you own the TV stations, when you own all the radio stations, when you own all the major newspapers, state-owned newspapers, when you own 2 of the mobile networks in the country, I don't think ZANU-PF has any leg to cry on. I think they've also equally weighted the election in their own regard. I mean, they can literally send a text message on Telecel and net one to everybody like they do. They have got the Herald, they've got the ZBC, they've got all the radio stations, all 27 radio stations are ZANU-PF controlled, whether through Zim Papers or whether through Super's little front company. So ZANU-PF has got ample opportunities to counterbalance that. Plus, on top of that, state machinery, soldiers, plus on top of that, the police, plus on top of that, the secret intelligence. So, yes, we can go into the sanctions argument, and I've always been against things like Zidera. My record is clear. You can follow me from the back of a million years ago. I've been very clear on this whole Zidera thing. I'm very clear that Morgan Tsvangirai and Rana Chamisa used that as a political tool that backfired on the people of Zimbabwe. I'm very clear on that stuff. But I'm also very clear that ZANU-PF has also been a fucking cancer to our country, because they've made billions of dollars, and they've also got a lot of opportunities to weigh themselves against the MDC. So in a situation where Morgan Tsvangirai won the election twice, they refused to give him power. I mean, come on, why are they still crying about sanctions? They refused twice. They lost twice, guys.
But let's also ask this question. Kanavan, vari kushandisa sanctions that are being made by a foreign country upon their own people. What are the chances that those people, irrespective of how they have fooled the public, can be good people for the nation? What are the chances that those people are the kind of leaders that are going to serve their own people when they've currently made sure that their own people are suffering for them to get into power?
Because Benny, I don't believe that is unreasonable for an opposition party to go and to go to foreign lands that are propping up the regime. Because remember, we can talk sanctions all we like. All the medicine we drink in Zimbabwe is aid. 50% of Zimbabweans are on food aid right now from America. So we can talk all this is a smoke screen. This is a beautiful smoke screen when you look at it. Because I don't think it's unreasonable for an opposition party to go to a foreign land and say, boys is mad. It's not an unreasonable thing. I know it's not a good thing, but it's not unreasonable. Do you understand? It's not unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable if it was done the way you say it was done. But we all know that that's not how it was done. The issue is that the MDC was an opportunistic force because of the trade union where they belonged to come in and be able to stop the land reform program. The problem is because of transformation.
Absolutely. Because of the serious white monopoly capital. I get that. I get that there were people with vested interests. But again, what I'm not going. I'm not myopic enough to say, Benson. I'm not myopic enough to say that.
They didn't go for the reasons you're saying. That's what I'm saying. They went for the reasons of serving.
No, but then,
and so,
like I said, you and I have got a date, and we must do this live, and we must talk about this thoroughly. But I don't actually believe that it's unreasonable for a party which is supporting MDC. White people are supporting MDC, for example. It's not unreasonable for them to try and stop their lands being taken. You see, we act like human beings have to act. No. But the thing is, we can go back millennium and start tracing back whose lands is what. This is the whole argument of did the Ndebele raid us and take our women and our cattle, or did the Nguni come down and then they kill the Khoisan? I mean, we can go back time infinitum. The buck has to stop somewhere, my brother. And I think we can continuously go and regressively say 100 years ago my grandfather's lands in Matopos was taken. I swear to God, right now, I don't give a fuck as long as the bundle rate is cheaper and I can get a good job for my children and give them a good education. The buck must stop. And I think we're going slightly off topic, and I would love you and I to talk about this properly. So please let me go back to the guys who are talking about the issue today, and then we can absolutely get into this properly. But I believe that your points are not wrong, my brother. You are very, very, very correct in the things that you say about sanctions, the people who call for the sanctions. But I don't believe that we must hold a higher moral standard for them than we do for the monsters at ZANU-PF. I think everybody needs to be judged equally. So let's speak later.
Before I go, one last point before I go. We must have this discussion, but it is a very central discussion because it will be able to determine whether never tengesi or never tengesi. Because I believe any nation, any national who goes to ask for a foreign power to impose war on their own country, mutengesi, and the question is, can that person lead us into a better
Zimbabwe? But then this is counterintuitive to what you're saying, my brother. ZANU-PF, ZIPRA, ZANLA went to Russia, they went to bloody North Korea, they went to China to get help in Rhodesia, which was a sovereign nation. So what you're saying is counterintuitive, my brother. People, if there's no war, when you don't look for allies. This is counterintuitive, bro. And your arguments are silly and they're very, very redundant. But I've got so much to say to you, but we can't do it now.
Rhodesia was not
We shouldn't do it now. We shouldn't do it now. Why was it not their country?
Because
why was it not their country?
A vote in Rhodesia. They did not have a stake in the economy of Rhodesia. They were excluded from Rhodesia. Their taxes were taken from them to prop up only 4% of the population. Now Zimbabwe, our taxes are taken to help all of us. We are all educated in Zimbabwe.
No, they're not. No, they're not, my brother. You need to come back here and see the kids going to the school behind my house at Bishop's thingy there at Alfred Bait. There's no money being taken for us, bro. They're taking the money for themselves.
Sanctions.
Anyway, we need to talk about this another time, Benny. Thank you very much. It's so easy to get sidetracked with Benson on other things, and that's not what we're talking about today. But I would love to have a head-to-head debate with Benson and actually make him see some of the fallacies of his own arguments. And I don't think he's coming from a bad place, but I think he's not looking at things from all angles. Does anyone else want me to add them, please, so I can add you guys and we can finish talking about the nyas that we're talking about? Okay, I'm adding my brother James right now. James, if you can answer, please. James, there you go. Thank you for answering.
Brother Jimmy Ndeipi.
Ndeipi kuda bururu.
Taraitinzwe. Bozo kutaraitinzwe. If you don't mind my brother ka, mukataura nechirungu ka noti nemandere hobo panapa noti ndakarorwa ndane mukadzi mugere.
Okay, right, for the benefit of my nini regantaura nechirungu. Right, so the first thing is just wanting to say that I personally condemn violence in whatever shape, form, or kind. So what happened at the burial of our icon there is something that should be condemned and condemned unreservedly. And I'm happy that the acting president of the MDCT party, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, when he appeared on The Voice of America a few hours ago, he actually did that. So that's one good thing. But in saying that, just wanting to say that I don't think there's a lot of objectivity in some of the debate that's happening at the moment right now as we discuss this issue, Kuda. Because for starters, this whole thing is an internal issue, MDCT. So it is a party issue. And because it is a party issue, it is something that should be resolved along the lines and the provision of the MDCT constitution. And as far as I'm concerned, there is not a lot of people that are well versed with what the MDCT constitution actually provides for. And most of the debate that's happening, it's happening without the knowledge of what the MDCT constitution says.
Well, I can explain for the sake of our listeners, I can explain that the MDC constitution, like most constitutions which are too long, is a badly written document, badly written by bad lawyers, because it has two things that are contradicting to each other. Number one, it says the deputy leader, the deputy president, takes over immediately in the event of death, absconsion of the current president. Correct?
That is correct, Kuda.
That's one part. The second part of it is that it also states that the National Council is supreme and can elect whoever it wants to be leader. That's two very, very bad things, because one does not override the other. So now, the deputy versus vice thing, if you read the letter of the law, is that Thokozani Kupe then is the acting president of the MDC by the letter of the law in that section of the constitution. Correct?
Yeah, but no,
wait. I'm qualifying. I promise you. I'm getting there. So to the letter of the law, Thokozani Kupe, that the moment Morgan Tsvangirai stopped breathing, Thokozani Kupe took over, because that's what the constitution states. However, the next morning at 11 a.m., the National Council, which is the supreme body in the MDC, then elected unanimously, minus Manzura obviously and the other one who walked out, that Nelson Chamisa is the new acting president for a 12-month period. So what we have is a situation of a bad constitution that gave us Thokozani Kupe leadership for literally 24 hours, and then Chamisa, rightfully, because the NC is the superior body in the MDC, has now elected Chamisa as the president. So that argument is not the argument we're having. I don't even want to argue on that, because like you said, that's an inter-party argument. What I would like to argue with you, my brother, is a cultural argument and a state argument. You see, for a crime to be committed, there has to be a victim. And Thokozani Kupe yesterday being stoned and beaten up with umbrellas is no longer a party issue. It's a woman being beaten up by young thugs. That's different.
That is correct.
So let us at least jump into that point, Rodi. As a citizenry, we are watching this party which is going to ask for our votes very soon. And we do not like the fact that we are seeing women. I mean, Wanzura, forget him in Manzuri. I mean, Varume. But to see a woman, a mother, being beaten up by thugs to me was distasteful. And as a citizen, I don't fucking like it. And I'm an advocate to everything. See, so now, these other activists go on their timelines right now. They're crying, hey, fuck, Thokozani Kupe, whatever. Why are they not active? Why not they not being active for Thokozani Kupe being beaten by those fucking thugs? That's my point.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, my brother. And that's why the very first thing that I stated right at the outset was that I condemn this act of thuggery. But in saying that, you know, we should realize that this thing happened where there was a crowd, and I don't even know how big that crowd was, right? And I think, in my own view, the leadership represented by the acting president, as soon as they were made aware of what was happening, I believe that they made the right call to make sure that that thing was attended to. That's one. In that,
Jimmy, Mira. Let me. We're the Tea Party. We're the Tea Party. We're the Tea Party. Mira. We're the Tea Party. Why did he send? Why did he send the same thug that beat her up the last time?
Mira, I'll come back to that.
Why did he send the same thug? And why was he sent?
And from what I hear, he said that he has instigated an investigation into this incident so that they get to the bottom of what transpired. And although I'm not going to argue with you, because I am not aware of the fact that this shaky guy is the very same guy that's accused of having beaten Thokozani.
Go watch the videos. Go watch the videos. Go watch the. You and I have YouTube. Go watch the videos. What I'm saying to you now, my business is that if you read his apology, it's identical to Morgan Tsvangirai's apology when Kupe was assaulted the last time. And the same people who are removed, the same people who were removed last time and put on suspension are the same guys who are sitting in the high tent. That's what I'm saying. It's a fact. These are not. I'm not being.
Go ahead. That's fine. I just want to move on to something else. And it's about just the irony of some of the things that are happening at the moment is that when Morgan Tsvangirai passed on, right, the very first person to cross the border into South Africa to go and be with the family was Thokozani Kupe. But from what I understand, because I'm not on the ground, is that Thokozani Kupe of late has been boycotting MDCT meetings because she wasn't happy with what was happening with the alliance thing, and that I don't think she had made contact with Morgan Tsvangirai. I'm told maybe not in the last sort of 6 to 7 months. And then this is the very person that's now at the forefront to say that they're wanting to protect the legacy of Morgan Tsvangirai.
Yes. If I may,
I find that quite absurd.
If I may, me and my sister fight a lot. My oldest, but meaning my sister, I fight with her a lot.
Yes.
And there's been a year when we didn't speak because she took the side of my ex-wife at some point, and we didn't speak. If I die, and my sister comes to my grave, I said I want to bury my brother. And I want to restore. I want to make sure that his children are looked after, and that his family does not go into disarray. Are you telling me that niggas have the right to stone my sister because me and my sister had problems?
No, I am not justifying.
Exactly. So let's not justify fuckery with fuckery.
I am not even justifying Kuti. Therefore, what happened to her is justified. But I am just trying to point out some of the hypocrisy that I am also entitled.
No, it's not hypocritical. If she knew that he was going to die, she may have behaved differently. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys, Kuti. You don't judge a person by their behavior when someone is alive. I think what they have. People took each other for granted. I would love her to be given an opportunity to come amends and say, you know what, I was very upset because he gave away my seat. He didn't consider me in the alliance. He gave Ngube all my seats in Matabeleland. I respect the fact that she was feeling aggrieved. I respect the fact that she's been wrestling for the part. She has been holding down Matabeleland for MDCT for ages against Ngube and against Mtambara and all those niggas, against PDP. But then PDP and Ngube got more seats in Matabeleland than she did. So she was genuinely aggrieved with her brother, a nigga who she had been with for 26 years. So me, I don't judge their relationship. I get it. Me and my sister fight. Me and my mother sometimes fight. But I'm saying that on the point of death, are we now saying that this woman is not allowed to come to her brother, a nigga who she's been with all her life, through all her political life, and then say, you know what, at least in his burial, let's bury him properly and do things properly to our Congress. I just think it's okay for her to do that. I don't judge her for that because I get why she was upset. Tolerance, ladies and gentlemen,
And I'm not even judging here for that matter, because look, there was a lot of people there. There was other opposition party members there. The ZANU-PF was there. The ruling party was represented there. Maim Juru was there, and all other opposition party members. But they didn't suffer the fate that Kupe suffered. What I'm just trying to say to you is that in politics, perception matters, and when perception comes into play, it plays on the emotions of the people, and especially our youths who are so gullible because of what they've gone through, because of what is obtaining on the ground, and because of some of the promises that are being made to them. So it's also always important to read where the political winds are going as well, and that would be my advice that I would give to Madam Kupe.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you coming on, Brother James.
I'm trying to add Sister Josephine. She seems to have a lot to say. I'm trying to add you, Josephine. If you can accept, then I would love to talk to you because you seem to have a lot to say. Josephine, how are you?
Hi, Kunasha. Sorry, the night dance. When you could join. Anyway, let me just cut it short and sweet. I'm gagging to talk.
Go ahead, just go in straight in.
First of all, okay, fine. Madam Kupe, I give her all the respect. She took her time. Like I end up not body at Tsvangirai. At the same time, I think Chamisa Arukutora advantage. Because in dear Akaenda, ku council, because I represent Amunwese Kutindosa Itika. So here as a deputy was appointed by the council. But Mtemo MDC Unoti, they are supposed to take it further to the extra Congress. Could you actually know selector who's going to lead? And Madam Kupe is going to lead. But however, Madam Kupe Pama votes, then positive democratic one of voter. People are supposed to choose their own leader. So Chamisa will win because I not Iwan. However, Chamisa Pahakwita Kanataro and Zungure Shamsika Kuti Avan Warutondida Nai Kunda President Inga. So now Aku override Constitution MDC. How is he going to be a good leader? He argue override the Constitution MDC already.
No, he's not. He's not overriding the Constitution. That's the problem. The Constitution has two clauses which can be used. The first clause is that the deputy takes over.
It doesn't have two clauses. Constitution, the Constitution here do MDC. You know what to coupen the right here leader until they elect another leader. Upon a time.
Iowa, but on the National Council, I say on the National Council here, new manje. He has got the supreme body, and it can not close. It can elect.
Extraordinary Congress. You know the extraordinary.
Congress
but Chamisa is a good public speaker. Chamisa so now he's taking advantage of Kuda. Extra Congress.
No, because the National Council has stated, which in your country you have to go read your constitution.
National Council stated because he's the only one attended. Because my Kupe lakayenda kunotambira body ya Tsvangirai. Saka meeting engeka togara yakasethwa kudhara. And he was the only available.
You don't have to be there.
Who went there?
You don't have to be there. You don't have to be there.
He's just
You don't have to be there.
Huh?
You don't have to be there. You don't have to be there to be appointed. The National Council can even appoint me
as well. Actually, Mosaina Tsvangirai. Tsvangirai was only supposed to have one deputy. You are not supposed to have three.
No. He was vice. No. The other two are vice. Pana one deputy in the coup.
Kupe ndiye deputy ka, but mamwe two ma vice. Two ma vice. Those who kusaka kuti paite problem. Party yotanga kuita unge siri organized. Party organized. And people should go and vote. Into kufunga kuti party organized zvangu. But pangoitika ka greediness kakuda kungopinda kekuti Chamisa aita overwhelmed. Ne support yaari kuwana kubva kune vanhu. From social media everywhere. Chamisa. But in all fairness, in his heart, he knows kuti Madame Kupe deserves the throne. For these 12 months, 6 months, whatever, 3 weeks, until they elect another leader. Kupe is supposed to run the party.
Manje mai Kupe wakaenda panyanga manje ka MDC inozvambaradzwa na ED pa election zvisingatomboiti.
Aiwa, vanenge vari acting president. That's MDC aipe president chigaro kungonzi ose nhaka. Tinovota. We vote for our own president. That's what people are not getting. Aungonzi Chamisa nekuti vanhu vari kuti yeye Chamisa wotonzi wa president. No. Tinotovhota kuti tiri kuda nhingi zvataita kuchikoro kuti junior debate leader. We used to vote for a junior debate leader. We just don't elect yourself.
Simon Murukudani. Huh? Simon Murukudani, my sister Josephine. Who do you want?
Ndrukuda Chamisa, but for now my kupenga vapiwe respect yavo. Gavarane. Kusvikira 12 weeks dzavo, whatever. Madam Kupenga vato kuti ndini acting president. Then Chamisa akaiswa nevanhu, fair enough. Or an party. But for now, zvaari kuita kazvikusaka kuti mamwe members eMDC manje vatove skeptical. Vakutanga funga kuti kana wakuda kuita unge maikupe vasiri munhu, maikupe vakutorohwa nevanhu uripo. What are you saying? Already you are bringing violence, which is what we don't want. We want a democratic world. We want to vote freely. We don't want you to elect yourself. We want to elect you. Saka Chamisa akutozvigadza umambo. Hanzi ndiri mhou inofamba nemhuru yayo. Ndiri mhuru yemhou. No. You know, be humble like Obama. Humble beginnings. Unobva wazovoterwa nevanhu tokuisa pachigaro. Wozotudza zvemhuru wapresident. Haungatudze zvemhuru sati akuvhotera kundikachinja moyo. Because the idika rakangwara rakanyarara zvaro pamwe ndorakatenga tuma youths twese tuyotuyozvo. Ndorakatubhadhara kuti kana masvika kumoita noise MDC yo divider. But the truth is MDC haina number divider. Ndaona hangu rume yekuti hanzi Madam Kupe vanga vakusiya party. Havana kumbosiya party. Vakatanga party yaya vese naTsvangirai. Havana kumbosiya party Madam Lele. But people vakadzi tinodzvinyirirwa. They don't want to see a woman lead. And it's so unfair kuti. Of course Chamisa is a young guy and he knows how to talk and he knows the in things and everything. So he's taking advantage of that. Fair enough. Ndiye anosaka kuti party irambe ichienda mberi chinakidza. But for now, ngaangoita chiremerera chekungosiya maikupe varane for now. That's what I feel.
My sister Josephine, thank you. Thank you very much. You're an MDC member. You gave us your position. Thank you very much, my sister.
All right, then. All right, then. Bye.
There's a lot of confusion. Before I take the next call, I need to make you guys understand. Those are the two clauses that I saw, and I looked this up the whole of last night. The National Council can choose whichever leader they want, number one, and number two, in the event of death, the deputy president takes over. Two things. Now, if you look at the American Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a 50, 60, 100-page document. It's a very simple pager. And I think the problem with this constitution, with the MDC, even ZANU-PF and the country's constitution, is that they're badly written and there's too many rules for room for manipulation, which is why we have ED as president and which is why MDC now has to live with a 12-month presidency of Nelson Chamisa, which I think is the best thing for MDC. I'm adding my brother Absalom, and his phone is not approving. Okay. The next person I'm adding is Simon now.
Brother Simon, how are you?
Hello, hi, how are you?
Go straight and tell us know what you thought, sir.
Hello, what did you say?
What do you think? Yeah, we can hear you clearly. What do you think?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What do you think, my brother? What are your thoughts? Talk to us. What do you think?
The party is in shambles. And if that's the way they are going to be leaders of the country, the party is in shambles. If that is the youth, that's the next generation which is going to be leaders. And no one is standing up for the women's rights. It's completely shambles. My missus right now, she's angry against Elizabeth, the way she has been treated. No one in the party has stood up and said, how are you treating a widow like that? Is that the right way? This happened 40 years ago. Now, we still have this today. No one is standing up. The same youth must be standing up for women. These are the voters. So, the example already is wrong.
Yeah.
Kupe has talked of a dissident issue. Matabeleland is gone. I come from Matabeleland. And I know how much the dissident issue affects them emotionally. And the leaders of the party
are not... I watched the videos. I watched the videos for Kupe. I've watched maybe about 20 different videos from different angles. And not once did I hear the word dissident chanted or said by anybody. Now, I don't know if someone went up to her ear and said it, but I think it's irresponsible for Mike Cooper to say those words and how emotive they are. Because I didn't hear it on any of the videos. And I listened very closely to say, did anybody chant that? But I didn't see it. So was that not a divisive thing for her to do as well? To start bringing up
it is probably, now this is what politics is about. It's about perception. Because Mike Cooper realized that she's losing the national vote. But she's got a very key constituent of the country, which she can use the emotional side of it. So the perception which people are shouting, Chamisa, Chamisa, is exactly now she's manipulating a situation. And Chamisa, the leadership of the MDC, is allowed this manipulation now. How are they gonna rebuild Matabeleland without Coupe? She has got a powerful voice in Matabeleland. And she brings the women vote as well. So I think the party itself, coming from Morgan Tsvangirai going up, violence has not started now. It's something which has been like a parasite. It's now a cancer. Remember the breaks we've had before, and no one has stood up against this youth. Who are the youth in the party? Why do they think they're so important today to the people who found the party? Why do they think like they can do whatever they want without votes shouting? No, democracy is about perception. What is it about elections? Why do you say I'm nominated? I'm anointed. Who anointed you? On a party Evanu. Where do you get the guts to say such kind of thing? I'm anointed by who? Tsvangirai is not MDC. A leader is only there to show ideas of what everybody else is doing. It's just a front of a party, of the brand MDC. Is a leader. How do you get there? By votes. By votes. You don't get there.
Like, anyway, my brother, thank you very much for joining us. I hear your passion, and I hear what you're saying. Let me let some other come on.
When I heard Mike Cooper narrate her story, I found it very sad that a woman was beaten up and treated that badly by her party cadres. And I think it's when she brought in the dissidence issue, I said, fuck, if this is true, this is terrible. So me and the missus went and found as many videos on our WhatsApp groups and to listen to hear, to see what were people saying when she was when they were pretty much assaulting and stuff. And why I didn't hear it. So I'm just saying on a personal level in the videos, because everyone was videoing and people were saying I didn't hear it on herself, but she actually said she was called a dissident, which I think is terrible. If that's true, then it's a horrible thing. But if it's not true, then it's a very divisive statement. I think, again, it divides our people along racial and party and tribal lines, which I think is very, very sad. So, and to all those on that, Diana, asking what a dissident is, you have to sort of be a bit older and understand that this is the word that was given to all fighting males between 14 and 30 or something in Matabeleland. And when ZANU-PF pretty much sent the 5th Brigade and shot up a bunch of young kids and men because they were just called dissidents because they were fighting age in the Gukrahundi atrocities, which our government still has not dealt with. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we've spoken. We've had a good chance to speak. I don't know if anybody can add any other layer to this conversation. I've tried to. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I don't want to dismiss people's problems, so I'm going to sum up. Thokozani Coupe is not wrong for feeling begrudged. She's not wrong for feeling robbed of her opportunity. She was elected by the Congress, and ideally, according to the Constitution, if you read it one way, she should actually be allowed to be the acting president until a situation with the National Council changes their mind. However, the National Council, being the superior body, has actually elected a leader of their choice, which is Nelson Chamisa. The public has responded in a very good way to Nelson Chamisa, as they probably would, because of his age. He's a good orator, and he's probably the strongest candidate that MDC currently can put against a very strong ED government in the next coming election. We don't have a lot of time, ladies and gentlemen. I would love us to be able to sit down and dissect these issues in a year's time when we've managed to get rid of the junta. But right now, I think we've got work to do, and the work to do is this. My advice to Nelson Chamisa, if my advice is worth anything, he needs to talk to Thokozani Coupe, talk to Obed Gutu, talk to Honorable Manzura, and would like to see them in the next few days together in a press statement telling us a way forward, a united way forward, unified way forward as a party. I would like there to be an opportunity for the party faithful to vote for the leader they want. And I think that Nelson Chamisa is going to win unanimously. But that's my own thought. I would love to see them together as a unit and give us some hope as a population that we're no longer going to be dealing with a fractured MDC. We would like to see the alliance get stronger. We would like to see other players involved. We would like to see people like Maim Juru and the Rainbow Alliance involved. And we would like to see a unified democratic alliance that goes up against the ZANU-PF juggernaut that is coming. And this is the only chance we have of removing a 37-year-old repressive regime. The only chance we have. 38 now, 38 years old. The only chance we have is if Chamisa proves his leadership and gets all these people, see, because the sign of a good leader is how you can get people to go where they don't want to go. How you can get people to go into places where even when they're scared. How do you get people to go to areas even if they may die? You know, the Winston Churchills were sending young men to their death sometimes. You know, a strong leader like George Bush managed to get people to go to war even though the UN had said no. See, strong leaders managed to get their things done. Hitler managed to get an entire nation to go to war with 10 other nations at the same time. You see, these are strong leaders. So we'd like to see if Chamisa can be that strong leader that our generation has been waiting for. Is he the Joshua to the Moses that Tsvangirai was? Is he the guy who's going to take us to the promised land? And I think it's regrettable that there was already this assault happening. I think it's a continuation of a very, very bad system, which is a remnants of what Tsvangirai left behind. I think leaving 3 deputies and 3 vices, I think was also a bit of a tragedy. I think succession issues should never be allowed again to get us into the position where we have an ED and a situation like this. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a long, long, long episode. We've spoken a lot. It's Mugabe's birthday, or what we now call Youth Day. So I hope all the youth out there are having fun. And I hope all the youth out there hold everybody to account. And please, remember today, go find all the selfie seekers. Go find them and like their pictures and put those 2 eyes and say, we see you. We see you. We see you, all these selfie seekers. They're going to be asking for your vote very soon. Hold them to account. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Tea Party. Expect us.